This is a Design Dojo stream, which is a space on my Discord channel in which I give graphic design assignments and exercises to hone our graphic design skills together. And then on this stream space and also on the Discord channel, I give feedback, and we give cross feedback with the community. So it's a really nice space to have, like, besides Instagram and all of that, to really get into the nitty gritty and talk about design in a more controlled environment, you know what I mean? And not just like in the void of social media, which it can be like not so much constructive, especially nowadays. So yeah, if you want to join, you have the link down below on the description to join the dojo. And yeah, my guys, today we have, which is I think one of my preferred like design assignments. This is one we did in uni, which is called lateral thinking. And I remember this exercise was literally the one that made me go like, oh, I think I understood something about design today. You know what I mean? This is an exercise that's really fundamental, and it's deceptively simple. It's such a simple exercise, but it's hard, you know. And I think good design, it's a lot about that, you know, about the narrative and what we're trying to say in the simplest terms, and then how we use aesthetics and all of that to amplify it, or maybe to amplify it, and or to give it a bit more nuance, you know. But the core idea usually gets watered down to that, you know. It's an image with text. That's design, you know what I mean? Like, an image by itself says something, and you can have text that matches that image, so the meaning it's linear, right? But when you have an image and then a word that is not precisely from the universe of the image, then you start to conceptually pull those apart, and then you start to create like a third meaning. That's called lateral thinking. And the sweet spot in this exercise and in design overall, I think, is seeing how much you can grab things that are conceptually apart so that they create tension, right? But if they are too far apart conceptually, like, you can't make the connection, so the concept like sort of breaks, right? But if they are too close, then the concept is too boring, you know. And that's most of design, you know what I mean? Usually, I don't know, you have like a narrow to the left, like a narrow pointing into a direction. Maybe it doesn't mean like anything, right? But in the context of having it in the sidewalk, it tells you where you need to go. So that's I think it's a nice thing to keep in mind. It's always text or images in regarding to the context and the elements that surround it that give it meaning, you know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to try to come up with something and create something really creative in a vacuum, right? We are like, I like to say that graphic design and art is really like an alchemical process that you're creating. You're sort of making some sort of magic, right? We are like grabbing all these symbols that have a lot of like baggage and meaning, right, engraved into them. Some is conscious, some is unconscious, right? So while we put them together, we start to conjure up emotion and conjure up like ways of acting, right? It can be more linear when we're saying stuff like a manual, right? We put text and then some graphics to tell you how to use a product, or it can be much more abstract, you know, maybe like a piece of art, but the core idea remains text, images, right? And then you can add, but that's for another time, the other dimension, right? Because the other dimension would be like, okay, you can have a picture, but how's that picture portrayed? That's also another layer, you know what I mean? It's not the same like a photograph than a painting, you know what I mean? But let's get to show some examples of the exercise that I mean, you know what I mean? Oh, I need to get rid of that. How do you say? Like those filler words? Yeah. So let me look at these folders. But yeah, guys, let me know how you've been doing. If you want to talk for a little bit before we start to take a look at some of the things that you've been doing. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Let me know if the music is too high or too low. I think that works, right? And also let me know, guys, what do you think about the exercise? Like, did you think it was hard? Do you think it was simple? This is a pretty hard exercise, not gonna lie. Like it was for me in uni. I remember that I can't remember exactly the word that I got that I needed to do, but I think it was control. I remember, but words like that are really played out and are really hard to do. So 1 second. Projects, Design Dojo. No, wait. Music too quiet. Like that. Yeah, I want to keep it like really buzzing in the background, because then I don't want it to, if I make clips about it, I don't want it to mess up the overall video, you know what I mean? But just to fill the silence. Projects. So we can have something like this. Let's do like this. Let me. Yeah, that works. So one guy had a question. It's the type of exercise that broadens your view. Technical stuff is fine and all, but this makes you open you to ideas. Yeah. This is a really like pivotal exercise for me. At least it was for me, I remember. And I actually haven't applied this till very like recently. I didn't felt like I needed, but when I started to do it, like the work takes like another dimension. It becomes better, like just by sake of practicing it. It's a scaling thing. It's not a growth thing. It's not linear. Like when you grow is when you put more effort and the work becomes that much better because of the effort. But I feel like this is a scaling exercise and a scaling concept, because the more you do it, the work becomes exponentially better. It's not linear, right? Once you start dealing with ideas, I feel the work gets that much better. I think my dog wants to enter the studio, but okay. Back to the exercise. I'll answer this question later. So okay, I provided a template for this that you can grab it on the. 1 second, back. Sorry, it's my dog. Like, she has this really weird thing in which, like, if you start to sneeze, she gets so afraid and she goes looking for someone to take care of her. Now she's here, like, say hi to the stream. If you're gonna stay here, you need to say hi to the stream. Dog. She's so beautiful. Okay. So, okay. Back to exercise, sorry. I provided a template for this. In the template, you're going to have the place to put the image, you're going to have the word, and also the definition. So that's the point of the exercise. It's like a copywriting exercise, really. You need to find an image. You need to pick a word from the list that I gave on the forum board on the Discord, which is right here. Oh, guys, I need to like. When you enter the Design Dojo, you're gonna see here, like these are the forum boards in which we have all the graphic design assignments, right? And this is the last one, the lateral thinking. And if you go to the top, you'll find like all the words, the list of words that you could use. But take a look at it. And yeah, the point of the exercise, the deliverable actually is like this poster which has an image, a word, and a definition for the word. And actually what you need to do is you need to come up with the definition of the word. You know what I mean? Like you can tweak it a bit, like pull some strings to make it fit whatever it is that you're trying to say, you know. Stop it. So for example, I had disease, right? I grabbed disease for this example, and this is a really played out example. I just wanted to grab something so you understood, right? If I put disease and then an image of like a microbe or a bacteria, you know, something that's actually a disease, that's literally linear, you know. I'm talking about salmonella or about whatever virus, coronavirus, whatever it is. Like I'm literally talking about disease, but here I'm trying to draw a parallel between we being a disease for the planet, right? This is an example that's been really played out, but it's just for you to understand, you know. Disease, a disorder of structure or function that has unfavorable symptoms for the host. So when reading the definition, it actually makes sense, you know. So that's the goal of the exercise. And as we start to pull and grab other examples, you know, this example actually is one that I remember from the uni days. I can't remember who did this, but one of my classmates did this. And I was like, now I got the exercise. I understood how it should be done, you know. So you had civilized and then the rack full of fur coats. So to civilize is to bring something to a stage of social and cultural development considered to be more advanced, right? So the pun that I'm making here, it's clear, you know, it's not obvious, but it's clear, right? And it's not the same if I say bring something to a stage of social and cultural development that is more advanced. That changes everything, because if I say considered, I'm implying that by consideration, it doesn't mean that it's in fact superior, right? So that's where the copywriting comes into play. So you need to really pick your word so they support the idea that you're trying to say. You know what I mean? If I put cultural development, that's more advanced, it could still work for the definition, but it wouldn't support what I'm trying to say with the image, right? I would be actually be on favor of grabbing, making fur coats, you know, of animals that we don't consume or whatever. So that's the exercise, right? This is a really nice assignment that goes really well with stuff that's more social critique, you know, control, to manage inputs, resources, or information to favor a desired outcome. Desired outcome here is the key part for me, right? Which I'm implying that this outcome is desired, right? It's been planned. You know, that's the exercise. To pick a word, pick an image, and to say what you want to say about that relationship that would make the viewer go, oh, okay, I know what he's trying to do, you know? And these are examples that I came up in one day, and they are nice to show the exercise, but you can come up with really cool ideas with this. I remember seeing ones on uni that were like, fuck, how did I? And the best ones are the ones that when you see them, you go like, fuck, why didn't I think about that? And that happens in design a lot. You'll see a poster about someone did, and it's like, why didn't I think about that? You know, it's like super clear. It's just there and you didn't see it, right? So yeah, super powerful exercise. Let's go to the Discord and let's see what you guys started to do, you know what I mean? Open in full view. Okay, here we have the I always move this here. Down. And here we have the Discord. Guys, you have the link down below. I added a bit of flair just now to the like to the roles for the Patreons. So that should be cool. So we have quite a few here to take a look at. Let's start from the top. And this is a really nice exercise, guys, to discuss about these things. So if you feel that you want to say something about the point, or you want to add something to the conversation, please do it, because yeah, it's gonna be fire. You know what I mean? Like this is an exercise for that. You know, to talk about what does all of this means. You know, to talk about ideas. You know, and you don't have to be right. Just for the sole sake of participating. That's then the exercise. It's already doing its magic. You know what I mean? So let's see. Ritual. Now, a repeated act carried out with intent, sustained by itself in something greater than the act itself. Okay, I think she's trying to talk about war. I wanted to commentary on war as a ritual. Okay, here, like this piece in particular, like this exercise in particular, doesn't need that much explanation. Like it's in the image or it is not in the image. You know what I mean? Here, I don't see it particularly like strikingly. You know what I mean? There was one really good for ritual that I liked, which is this one, right? A repeated structured sequence of actions and behaviors that alters the internal or external state of an individual, group, or environment regardless of conscious understanding, right? What's happening with this one is that the caption is the caption is way too long. You know, you can condense it far more and make it more impactful. It could be like a repeated structured sequence of actions regardless of conscious understanding. And that's ritual, and that functions for the image. And you are talking about like the commune to work or the flow of people in the city, you know. But you need to restructure your like the definition to have the most punch. Usually for these kind of cases or most copywriting exercises, you need to decrease the surface area. You know, the less words that can convey the impact that you want, that's gonna be the best bang for your buck in these kind of exercises. This is an exercise of condensation and trying to get the most out of your words, you know, the words and the image. Yeah, this is not like we're writing a novel. I'm not saying that every like distillation is the best every time. That's not the case. But for this exercise in particular, it's the goal, you know. We had a few there. Oh, the ritual one. Here we have another ritual. Repeated structured sequence of actions or behaviors that enter. I feel like you guys like. I've seen this also. Like you don't need to grab the definition that you see online. You need to come up with it. Like read a bunch of definitions of the word, but you need to come up with the definition that supports what you're trying to say. You know. Repeated structured sequence of events and behaviors that alters the internal and external state of an individual. So what could we say here to make it more? I like this because I do this, you know. I bet, and also this is really current, you know. What could we say? Because a ritual, and here is when you start to say, okay, you have the spheres that these two worlds touch, right? We have the cell phone, going to bed, dreams. Then we have the ritual, which is religious. It's cultural, right? It has to do with repeated action. It can be spiritual, right? So it would be so hard. I don't know if you're trying to say that this is a ritual and that's that, or that is something that we do because it's cultural, or we do it because it's automatic, right? What are you trying to say with this? That it alters our internal and external state? I guess that's what you're trying to say with it. But in the image, I don't know if it conveys that meaning like really like really heavily, maybe if you had a picture in which like she eats to the side and the clock says like it's 5 a.m., and she's on a binge, she has insomnia, right? And then you start to have the image still of the girl in the cell phone, but in another light. You have an image that push you to another idea, right? She here looks super chill. She's having a blast. She's watching the best memes, like we need to see her going into low-key dementia, and then you make it about how this ritual in particular affects you internally, right? And then you make the definition go on that, right? But those are the kind of decisions we need to make for this exercise, I feel like. Ownership, holding absolute dominance over assets, on the right to enjoy, occupy, possess, rent, sell, use, give away, or even destroy. Ownership, like I at the beginning I said like me tengo que ir, después lo subo. Buenísimo, man. Magus, let's go. Magus, ¿cuál sos vos? Magus, ¿será Lara? I don't know. Okay, back to this. This is the classic. Like this link is being also like overly used by vegan activists, so we have seen this. But if you're trying to say that, okay, it's holding absolute dominance, right? And one of the core parts of the critique is seeing animals as things, not as living things. So you could say like holding absolute power, holding absolute dominance over assets. And that's that, holding absolute dominance over assets, ownership. And that's it, right? And I guess that makes the point far better. Usually, when these kind of assignments, when it's so like in the middle, like it's like there, like you could tweak the definition. I feel it could work better. So yeah. Okay. Ritual, a learned pattern repeated and perpetuated through time, unconcerned with consequences. Okay, unconcerned with consequences now took a bit more strength, so you see what she's trying to say, right? A learned pattern could be pattern perpetuated through time, unconcerned with consequences. Could also work, But this is the assignment, you know what I mean, guys? Ownership, consumption. This one was hella funny. Surveillance, a persistent observational ritual maintained not by cameras but by people themselves. This is nice because like that's not actually the case, it's not by people. Like, yeah, it could be the case, but you're explaining too much with the but by people or mentioning the cameras. You could say a persistent observational ritual. And that with the grannies, that would be like so funny. Surveillance or observational ritual. And here you can play about, you could make it more funny. We could think about like what would be a funny definition for this. Could be like act of observational analysis carried out by intelligence agencies or something like that, and you have the grannies there. Yeah, this one is nice, but again, it's all the same. Like you need to polish a little bit like the definition to have it have a bit more punch, but it's super funny. Control, power to influence or direct people's behavior on the course of events. Nice, but again, like the government, the army, it's super played out. The act of combining different ideas or actions into a new and different whole. This one is really nice. Act of combining different ideas into a new and different whole. Act of combining different ideas into a new whole. Right? This is super nice because this is really like, I feel we could grab like another image, but I get what he's trying to say. It's like having sports and like protest in the same, right? And you have the both black men and the white man there. So it has a lot of layers, but you can see it, right? The act of combining different ideas and actions into a new and different whole. Like, this is super good one, but I feel it lacks just a little bit of playing around with it to make it great. But here you can feel you have a seed of a really nice lateral thinking piece, you know? Synthesis, the act of combining different ideas into a new whole. Or you can have it like the other way, like act by which old ideas create something new would also work, right? The double different, but yes, the double different could be tweaked. Yeah. This is the exercise. Like, play with the phrase. See if you can get it to be perfect, you know? And guys, don't use ChatGPT for this. Like, I can tell. I can tell when you use it. Oh, this one was nice. This one used ChatGPT. I like the idea, but it used ChatGPT and it shows. Like, it has the little, like the dash. That dash, it's super ChatGPT, my guy. So, artificial. Anything that imitates the real shape not by nature but by intention, design, or intervention. It is the constructed version of what could have been natural. Artificial. What she's trying, and what I guess what she's playing sleep, or that everything is too pristine. Right? I feel that there is something here, but I can't tell what it is. I'm drawn to the, like, she looks like super perfect with the blanket, with everything like white. So that's what you're trying to say. Like, this would be super funny if you put like a classic performative male. Like, let's actually do that. You know what I mean? Where is it? My piece. Okay. Let's go. Let's actually do it. So here we have this one. I was playing with other ones. You see, also I wanted to play with the, like this, because this was an image of sanitary aid, like that was being like purposely destroyed, you know? Yeah, but it's played out. Like the image for artificial. Actually, let's try to work it. Like, let's try to think about it. And let me open this here. I wanted to do like a, wait. I wanted to do yeah. Yeah, but it's too linear. Like artificial, it's too linear. It's literally like it's literal, you know? There you being literal. Like, let's grab the most performative. We need a Pinterest image. Performative male outfit. Fuck. Okay, bet. I don't want to shoot shots at this guy, like. Damn. Artificial like that, right? And he said anything that imitates the real shape not by nature. I like this. A constructed version of what could have been natural. Okay, so we could have like, damn. You know? Does this work? A constructed version of what could have been natural. Let's see, we have like a more performative male, like. And this is just for fun, guys. Like the other day I took like a performative male test and I got like a fucking 70, you know, like. But I like to, I mean, I identify as performance. I'm a performance male. Yeah, now we're diving into twink territory. This one's crazy. Hard fit. Okay, but now I'm realizing that the entire point of the performative male is that it's the concept of the performative male, it's that's artificial, right? So that's linear. You know, you have to think about it. You have to think the performative male, it's already engraved into the concept that's artificial, you know. Now this is linear. This is linear, guys. This is wrong. 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 What could we have? What could we do with artificial? I was working on one. Oh no, I was working on one. I was working on one and I forgot. Or was it the other file? Let me think. Oh no, this is the one that I sent you guys. Wait, I need to go grab some water. Like my throat is fucking killing me. Sorry, I got some water and I got some mate registered from Argentina. You know what I mean, my guy? Gotta find the guy with the carabinier, yeah. me know if you have any ideas for this. Like, what would be a good one for artificial? Right. And the point that for this exercise, like, I never find it like a good way to fish for ideas for this, right? It's not like you can just browse like random images. Like if I browse just photography, right? Like what could be yeah, but again, like the model to signify that something's artificial, it's been too played out. It's almost entering into the realm of the linear, you know. Of course, it's not the same. Like artificial intelligence would be like linear, 100%. A model, it's not, right. It's trying to be a proxy for a way of being that's artificial, but it's too played out in modern culture. You know, we're already on to that. The same to using an influencer or whatever it is. So what could be like that artificial? Control, like yeah. That's a good one. Like control, like the architecture. Yeah. But again, it's like we are looking for. Again, it's like we are looking still within the realm of things that appear things to link it with the artificial, right? So where could we look that's outside that realm of things trying to look like other things, right? To signify that artificial. And this is how a lot of the exercise go. You'll spend a lot of time like this. What's the thing? And that's what I mean. Usually it's really hard to fish for ideas like this. Usually you say, okay, I know with what word I want to work with. So you go live your life, you know, you go live your week, and then in some time you'll see something happen in front of you and you'll go, that's it. You know what I mean? I know. Okay, artificial, right? Yeah. I get this is artificial. It's a really hard one because already the word evokes a lot of like symbolic stuff, you know, because like in reality, like you could go as far as to say that everything is artificial. You know what I mean? Everything it's a proxy for something else. Like it's all an artifice of the mind. You could go to that extent, you know. You could go to that extent. Yeah, artificial. It's a really hard one. Like I was thinking about the markets, and yeah, the TV as something artificial. It's the same as the movies, the actors. It's all in that same like sphere of meaning, you know, of the artifice, you know, that word. I was thinking about the stock market, that could be as artificial. But again, like it's something that it is said, it's something that we already kind of know. Like it's made up. It's all a fugazi. It's all a fugazi. It's stardust. It doesn't exist. Like the movie. Artificial. It's all a fugazi. There, perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, the stock market is not the same as money. Yeah, right. But I guess you could do it with money. Like there is a lot of manipulation here. Like people say, like, "Oh, nah, sir, you can predict it, whatever it is." But it's artificial. You know what I mean? So this would be one. Let's go back to the. Yo, I was writing one and I erased it. Like I can't be this idiot. It was a really cool one. Let me go to my Notion real quick. I think I got it here. Oh no, I erased it. I erased it. Shit. Doesn't matter. Let go back to the Discord. Adaptation. Okay, again, like the tool as a thing for adaptation, laid out almost linear here. It's like a nice ad for Victorinox, like for the Swiss blades. But yeah, adaptation. The ability to adjust and thrive in changing conditions. I feel we could grab another image, maybe. The ability to adjust and thrive in changing conditions. Okay. Like what we're trying to say, like the baby is adjusting to thrive. Like there is an element of succeeding in whatever it is the task. I feel like the good one here is like the baby like is figuring out how to use these devices. Like he already has like the pointing finger and knows how to scroll. It could be like first step in evolution to adapting in a new environment. The ability to adaptation could be ability to adapt to new environment, and that's it. You know. But again, we have to really think about those because this exercise also it can become pretty abstract pretty quick because once you draw the link, it happens to me sometimes that you can draw the link and then you start seeing it as linear because you already see the link. You see the link, so you start to doubt if it's lateral enough. The best that I can think is the old ladies one. That's a really cool one. And also the guy that did the synthesis one. The synthesis one is really good. Again, adaptation with animals, it's hard. I love the pictures. Because you're showing adaptation of the animal. Right? If you want to say like I feel like he wanted to say like how animals were pushed to new environments. Like you would literally show like a monkey in a city or like an animal that's not supposed to be there, show it in like a big city. Right? But again, adaptation, it's something that's really linked to the animal world. You know what I mean? Because of evolution. We think of animals, evolution, adaptation, like it's really close, right? Like what's something that, what's an element that's not close to that sphere, something that evolves less, you know, a rock, something like that. So a rock. I'm thinking like, yeah, it's hard. Adaptation is also hard. But this is the exercise, you know what I mean? Like look outside the spheres of the things that you would typically look at, and and try to come up with those links. Artificial. Artificial is the shadow of humanity learning to walk on its own, a creation shaped from our logic, our ambition, and our flaws. I don't understand what this is. Identity, the version of us formed in rooms that we are no longer in, and the outline they remember is never the person you. This is too poetic. Like, it's a nice poetry bar, but it's not a definition of the word. Identity, act of fitting in. This I like more. The image is too poetic. Like in the previous one, they were both like too poetic. You know? But there is something, there is nice. It is a nice piece. Identity, act of fitting in. No, it's not an act. It could be like a state of fitting in, right? Or identity. I don't even think that it's a fitting in thing like identity. It could be tool for fitting in. Tool for fitting in could be identity. I think that could be a nice identity one, like tool for fitting in. It could work, but yeah, identity. Yeah, it's a hard exercise. This is what I mean about this exercise. It's super simple: an image, a word, a definition, right? But that mix, and think about like, if you did this for all of your posters, you know what I mean? Like I did one not long ago. Where is it? Oh no, sorry. El de the one I did the business as usual. This one. This poster I did live. It's on the stream. It's on a stream. You can go look for it. But this poster has elements of this assignment, right? Because I'm talking about business, right? Business as usual. I'm talking about something that's an everyday thing. You know, it's a daily ritual. You know, it's something that's part of culture, right? And then we have the four-legged stool, the wooden stool that has the rifle holding it up. So that's like a way of saying, okay, the gun, it's a way they use to maintain the status quo, you know? It's one of the pillars of how they keep things working, right? but that's a symbolic way of speaking. If I change this that it has, if I change, even if I take out the words at the bottom, the poster still works. But it's similar to the exercise we are doing now. The way of thinking about this idea came from this exercise, right? It's semiotics. Semiotics is the science that studies it's a field of study. It's like the field of study of what the meaning of symbols, what the symbols mean, and yeah. Network, a system where independent units follow common cues to generate coordinated results. Again, it's nice, but a network of tunnels that they have, like, is not as far, right? Network. What's not a network that could be considered a network? It's a tough exercise. I'm getting like, how do you say, like mush headed thinking about this, because usually you need to stick to one word and you give it. A system where independent units follow common cues to generate coordinated results. But yeah, think like this. Something like this. This one I feel is pretty good. It's still lacking the thing that's gonna make you. And also, guys, like, one thing that I feel it's one thing that I want you guys to understand about these assignments, like, the Design Dojo is a spot for you to interact with these assignments, and just by the sole sake of interacting, you're already like getting so much out of it. You know what I mean? You don't need to do it right? I feel like sometimes people, when they don't get it right like this, they stop posting, but that's not the case. Treat it as this was literally you going to university. Treat it like that, because in the act of engaging with it one time and time again, that's when you build the thing. Maybe you flop this exercise really bad, right? But you'll get a client that's gonna require a bit of the thinking, and maybe you go over the threshold on that assignment. Maybe it doesn't happen here, but the cogs already started turning, and that way of thinking already seeps into you. You know what I mean? And you have it at your disposal. The same with all the other exercises, right? There are some things that once you see them, you can't unsee them. So I guess this is the core philosophy of experimentation that I wish it's clear for the Design Dojo, right? It's not like a procedure that I can teach you. It's more an experience that I can push you through, and whatever comes out the other end will come, because I'm sure, like, I flopped this exercise on uni. I flopped in this exercise, right? And I think over the years, I developed the maturity to sort of understand it. And now I'm having trouble with it because it's super hard, but the way that I got the exercise in my own way have helped me tremendously in my career, and that's what I'm trying to do for you with this, right? You don't need to get it perfectly. You just need to use this to think in a way that maybe you wasn't thinking about design, right? Found myself gravitating towards those three words: process, balance, synthesis. These are too abstract. I've seen these ones. These are good, but I mean, the images are good, but it's too abstract. Okay. Balance is ongoing regulatory process that prevents systemic failure. I like that. Balance. Ongoing regulatory process that prevents systemic failure. I feel that's the definition we are looking for the exercise. But what's the image? Right? Here, like, it looks like you're talking about the precise concept of balance as in graphically, right? And that's not the exercise. Oh, sorry. There. Balance. Ongoing regulatory process that prevents systemic failure. Right? Balance. Okay, what happens if we got this? I want to try something. What does it say? Ongoing regulatory process that prevents systemic failure. Balance. You know, it's not perfect, but now we are talking about somebody doing the balancing, right? Ongoing regulatory process that prevents systemic failure, right? As in, these troops are being sent to preserve balance and keep the thing running, right? And we are not talking about an idea that's precisely around control and that overly used like a sphere of meaning for army and government and all of those things. So I think here we have like something. And that's another thing, like you can go into the Discord and see the images that others have used and see what happens if you just throw them in, right? I love this. Like, I mean, I don't like the like this particular use. I don't think it's like properly used. Like with images like this, you have to be really tasteful and really nail it so it doesn't become ambiguous. I remember this teacher once told us that sometimes when what you're trying to say is not that clear, right? You need to make sure that people are not understanding it incorrectly, right? I remember this was this This was an assignment in which there was one message that was giving a lot of Nazi vibes, and the teacher was like, you didn't nail it, but in this case, you need to pay attention that you can't send this to print. Like you need to pick up on it's far worse that this is what you're getting, that your idea is not coming through. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you need to make more sure that the wrong thing is not being perceived, instead of maybe what you're trying to say not super clear. Okay, be clear that there's not another thing worse that could be understood from this, right? So I don't say that's the case for this one, but I'm saying when doing stuff like this with really shocking imagery, one needs to be a bit more careful, right? To not say the wrong thing by accident, right? If you want to say it, the wrong thing, say it so you can be put on evidence earlier, I like this. Point in which something becomes true. Point, I love that, threshold. Wait, let's save this one. Balance one. Was like this. Threshold. Threshold. Point in which something takes place or becomes true. Also works with the image, I feel like. You see what I mean? We need to nail it better with the image, but we are starting to get the good ones, to get into that nice, sufficiently far apart worlds in which you make like a deeper. It's not that you find the meaning, it's that you say something with enough character that looks, sounds proper, it sounds like with character, right? Threshold. And having the army guys, like point in which something takes place or becomes true. So yeah, it's a pretty abstract assignment. You already know what I mean, guys. So for the new ones that maybe are here, we are doing the Design Dojo assignment 24. This is the next exercise. After this one is going to be the last one. This is a rhetoric and conceptualizing assignment, a copywriting exercise in which we need to put an image, a word, and a definition that we need to come up with to support the lateral relation that's between the two objects, the word and the image. Like if you have an image and then the word is the same, then the meaning is linear, like it's one-to-one. But if we grab an image that's representing something in whatever sphere of meaning it is, and then we have something for another universe, we can create a third meaning, This. Do you have advice for poster design? Yeah, get good at this, my guy. Get good at lateral thinking. Otherwise, all of your posters are gonna be like a head with some texture and just like a random quote. You know what I mean? I've done that so much. And it works, guys. But it's not fulfilling. And it also it doesn't scale well. Once you start to grow your business, you're gonna need to also develop the vocabulary to support and defend your work and deal with something that's more IQ. More nowadays, we need to be far more than pixel pushers. So delving into all of this stuff, it's really gonna help you to not to deal with clients, but to help them, to actually help them and understand them and have them understand you and come up with the nice ideas that are gonna help you move forward in your career. You know what I mean? Other than just like the nice poster. That will go so far, guys. Like the nice poster, I'm not playing super conceptual guy. Like this is just for this assignment. I think this is super nice to have as a foundation. And of course, we're gonna do the cheesy posters we always do. We love those, we love those, right? This is just, I'm trying to be performative for the sake of the exercise, like we are in conceptual mode, so we need to go fucking insane with concept, right? Okay. Are all briefs gonna stay up after the final one? Yeah. I'm gonna keep the dojo. I'm gonna keep the old ones, and I'm gonna call it like Design Dojo 2025. And then I'm gonna make a new board with Design Dojo 2026, and then I'm gonna post the new ones there. And I'm gonna delete the legacy Design Dojo. I'm gonna delete it, and I'm gonna start the new one. And also, guys, I'm thinking, because the server, it's like there are too much bots. You know what I mean? There are too much bots, and I really want to keep the server free, but I don't know, maybe doing like a $1 entry, like the ones that are already on here, like they're gonna stay for free, of course. But maybe like a small something, or I don't know if you know, like a really nice like gacha application. Or no, there are a lot of people that are promoting, not bots, there are people that are promoting like bullshit, like crypto scams and all that shit, you know what I mean? And I feel like a really small entry, it also would help me to keep this shit running, would help. But I guess that if someone can't pay it, like they can reach out to me and I'll let them in, it's just to add like a really, like a barrier of entry, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know. I feel that would help, but I really want to keep it like frictionless, but there are a lot of people that are getting in that I wouldn't want them in. So, oh wait, we were talking about this threshold. I like it. What do you think about the initial approach to design? Not with the aim of delivering a specific message, but rather a concept, intention, and giving the viewer freedom to interpret your design. Let me answer this. Let's talk about this. Let me get rid of the music because bro is like fucking... That works. Okay, bro is saying, what do you think about the initial approach to design? Not with the aim of delivering a specific message, but rather a concept, intention, and giving the viewer freedom to interpret your design. This is interesting. What do you mean by the older approach? Like before things were done that way? Like I feel in design, there has always been like this specific intention of having intention. You know what I mean? It's not that every design you need to understand it in the specific way that I'm trying to do it. I'm just pushing the chips. This is my understanding. We push the chips in a certain direction, so the message will follow that path and people will interpret it around that direction. There's always going to be leeway for people to understand us in a certain direction. But even in speech, even if I talk to you and I try to be as granular and specific as I can, people will always get what they want from any input. I get design at its core. It's doing things with some degree of intention, at least in the message or some things. This is how I like to put it. Like the traditional thing is to have things like painting, right? Painting be more related to art, right? Because I don't know, because it's expressive. I don't know, because it feels like the message is much more accidental. It's more intuitive. Like I'm painting this, and it's not that I'm trying to say something about the subject. I'm just trying to let you know how I feel about the subject. So that's artistic. Now, the decision in which what type of paper you use as your canvas, that's a design decision. It's not an artistic decision. Maybe you grab another brand of paper that has another texture because you like that texture, and that could be an artistic decision, right? But you grab a really heavy paper that can support the ink, that's a design decision that allows the painting to take place, right? That's the most clear like way in which I can put it. This is kind of the same, right? We can grab any two sets of images and try to say whatever we will about them, right? But I can make like the one with the surveillance, right? The surveillance with the old ladies, like this one. Where was the old ladies? This one, right? Oh, they go like this. Like he was trying to push the message in a certain direction, right? And of course, there is like open degrees of interpretation for it, right? But these are design decisions that were made. These are not artistic decisions. I even gave you the template, so you couldn't make artistic decisions. This is all about design, right? You couldn't make preferential designs on preferential choices on the text or whatever. It's just like focus on the list that you can, right? So it's not like I think that's a better way of making designs or not. I think that's design and that's it. Like it's not a better or worse. It's like saying things with an overarching message. I feel that's design, right? And that's also art. Art has message also. It's not that it doesn't. I feel like that relation we give to art not having a message or being like just for the sake of ourselves, it's wrong, right? But I feel like design decisions are much more like focused on a specific thing, right? Like you can have in a painting, like the Mona Lisa, if it was painting from another angle, right? From another angle, because the artist thought it would show better, like her like her royal features, because he wanted to say something about the royalty. That's a design decision. You know what I mean? It's wishy-washy to delineate, but I guess you know what I mean. Decisions that are made for a specific thing or a specific focus, or trying to deviate the piece in a specific way of understanding it. I think that those are design decisions, right? In artistic decisions, I don't know what clearly is an artistic decision. I would put it much more in the field of intuition, right? Of things that you feel are that way because you have done these things so much that you already start to feel those patterns. You start to feel them, that I think that this typography here works better. I don't know why. That's an artistic decision. You feel it works. I don't know why, right? And I would put it on that domain, but I don't quote me on that. I'm not like completely sure. I gravitate more towards being sure around what's design, right? I feel art can't be like the moment you define art, like you fucked it. It's like that's the entire point. Like art is making the question. Clip that shit. Art is making the question. I like that. Yeah, looking in. So, you gonna go back to this? It's just that initially graphic design is something that can be quickly read, both visually and conceptually. What about the deliberate confusion, message encryption for logo posters? Yeah, that's design also, because the decision of make it encrypted, it's a decision. You know what I mean? Design is the decision, not the poster. The poster is a poster. I have more with this because what bro is saying, I like it. Graphic design, yeah, it's like design and art is like we think about it I feel like in terms of the finished thing. It's not like this poster is art, another poster is design, right? A poster is a poster that went through a design process and an artistic process, you know? A logo went through an artistic process as well, because if you give me the same brief as another designer, I'm gonna make it different because it's not a logic procedure, right? It's a procedure that goes through a lot of my own biases and a lot of things that I have intuition on, that I can't precisely pinpoint why I do them. Some I can, some others I can't. But I make design decisions on those that I can. You know, I can't make a design decision on something that I don't know. You know, I feel that's the core difference, right? But it all happens like this. It all happens like super together. It's not like one thing is design and the other is art. You know, both are like constantly like fucking. What was bro saying? We had another question from before. Do you have any advice on how to cope with rat race jobs robbing you from creative energy, and how to keep enough to keep going? I feel completely wasted. Usually can only do 2 pieces per week. This is a tricky one, my guy, because I really can't speak from experience, because I've been terribly privileged in my life. I feel like I was like I was working in an already design environment. I worked in a print shop really close to my house, and I lived in a spot in which I could be in 30 minutes in my university, you know? So it was like I was doing design stuff and learning from design in my work, and then going home, continuing to design, going to university that was really close. I had friends that had to take like 2 buses, 2 hours to go, 2 hours to get back home, you know what I mean? So I can't really talk about on that struggle, you know what I mean? I do know that once I got the feeling that there were people that had it so much more difficult than me, made me feel super grateful and made me want to lock in and make something good out of it. So I know that struggle, but I wouldn't really know how to give you like honest advice on that, because it's a lot. It's a lot for me, even being in the middle of it in a pretty comfortable position now, like from social media, from the news, from everything. The short answer is super cheesy, but you just gotta lock in. I've tried everything, and I feel there is a certain degree of healthy madness that you need to indulge on, I feel like, to sort of cut some of the noise out. I don't know what you specifically are going through in your life, or anyone listening really, but there is a mix of things you need to cut off. It can be people, it can be certain stimuli that you go after again and again. I know that I do mines, you know. I drink a lot, you know, and I fight a lot, and I need to stop drinking and whatever, but you need to channel that energy into the spots that are worth. And of course there is time in which you say, okay, I gotta log in and figure this out, but there are times in which you just gotta go. And if you're tired, work feeling like shit. Like, I guess what I can tell you is that if you put in a lot of work, I don't know what's your age, but like if you put in like a lot of work, mostly in this environment, and I don't want to sound like those motherfuckers that sell courses, but I do believe to an extent it can be like that, right? If you are in a spot in which you are here, you have a computer and you can watch my stream, that means you have some sort of time, right? If you can reallocate some of that energy, and I know it's asking a lot, right? But if you can reallocate that energy to put 2 posters a week, I can't make 2 posters a week between of all the work that I've imposed myself. If you're able to do 2 posters a week for a year, I guarantee you something will happen, right? I'm not big on saying like your dreams will come true. I don't believe that, right? But I do believe that if you make a lot of stuff, something will happen, right? And you need to trust that you are not smart enough to envision what could happen, right? We lack imagination. Like our dreams are based off the short-sighted imagination we have, So there is no telling what could happen if you just like put out like the work that you can do, right? Don't think that because it's only 2 posters a week, it's gonna be bad. 2 posters a week, it's a lot of work. If you do them like this, that we are doing now, and you log in and make great concept, great work, like maybe you do 1 poster a week, but you dial this stuff in and they are great concept, something can happen. You know what I mean? So I guess that's what I can tell you, my guy. Like, just you can make 2 posters a week, make 2 pieces a week, right? And just make them, but make 2 a week, right? And it's gonna stop piling up over time. It's gonna be 2 years, and you're gonna have a lot of posters. That's a lot of posters, right? And also, like, take it as this is what you want to do. You want to live as a designer. That's making posters. You're literally living the graphic design life. So make the 2 posters. What else that you gonna do? Like watch Netflix? That's because you're maybe looking at it like, and this happens to me too, like, oh, I need to get this through, No, wait. We are doing the thing. We are doing the thing that we wanted to do. Like, why is it like always so like self-martyrizing ourselves? Like, this is what we wanted to do. Like, just fucking do it, but do it like in that state of play, in that state of, oh, this is fun. Not is like this is a chore. Sometimes it's a chore, right? And that's perfect, and that's part of life. But if we can shift the way in which we look at the work, it can be far more productive, right? And it can be a way of living life, not of doing the work just for the self of efficiency. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's hard. Oh my god, this question. Do you think knowledge can get too spread out? Is being a generalist bad? No, I think being a generalist is actually the best. Oh guys, this is a pretty long topic, because a lot of like design syndrome is based on that. Like the ninja persona that I set up for the brand is around that, around the generalist mindset. You just gotta do the work that you are drawn to, my guy. Like the most things, like what would be design that's only about design? You know what I mean? What would be it? Posting UI UX design that looks like every other UI UX design. If you like architecture, how can that interest in architecture nurture your UX UI design? Maybe are some architecture like philosophies or concepts that get into the UX design like principles. It's not that, and that is something that I've been thinking a lot of. It's not that being a generalist is so much that you spread yourself around all these different disciplines. It's more like you practice the things that you are drawn to, and they will cross-reference each other within you. Like my designs look the way that they do because I like movies. I like a lot of printed media. I went to see the other day the work that my professors used to do, and it looks a lot like that of the people that I've known, the art that I like. So I feel actually it's the contrary. The most stuff you pursue and find interesting in will give your work that much more personality, right? And I guess that it's not that you are trying to pursue all of these things. There are things that for sure you're gonna have to pick, right? But it's not that you need to be laser focused in just one thing, and all the other things are a waste of time. Uh, uh, like everything nurtures other parts of you. Like I love cooking, right? I love cooking, and I've come to realize that that also influences the way that I design, right? Design has a lot of mise en place. You know, mise en place in cooking, it's a French term. Mise en place is when the chefs put all the things that they're gonna use. They make the prep and they have all ready to just begin to cook, right? That's the mise en place. You put everything ready so you can cook. And design, it's a lot like that. You have your typography, you have, you know, the thing, your assets, the thing that you're gonna use, and then you start to make the Lego and to work it, right? And I feel that's why I tend to work like that, you know. And design, it's a lot like cooking. Typography, a lot of anime influences. It's not that it's all in a oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought because I saw the question. Nowadays, I believe the more problems you can solve, more valuable you for market and generally being good designer. Yeah, I mean that's never gonna be out of the question. Like design is principally is mainly a thing that's gonna be used for the market, as in everything, you know. But at least I try to think it. But again, guys, like I'm making content for myself. I try to not. For example, it happened to me that I. This was at the beginning. Like I was doing a lot of like small branding projects, like more logo work and stuff like that. And I stopped doing that because I realized that first these people are getting like a logo, and they're paying for a logo that is not. They are paying for a logo in the hopes that the logo is gonna give them more sales. That's the underlying like thing that they feel like. Some do, some feel like no, they just want to have like a more professional looking business, right? But the underlying like seed behind that, it's they want to make more money. And I know like once you start to read a bit about branding and like and business, um, I'm more of a graphic nihilist nowadays. I feel like a logo couldn't be whatever. Like what matters is the message, and then we enter into the panopticon. You know, it's like every brand is trying to sell something that we don't need. Right? We don't need more textures. You know what I mean? I just sell them because I need something to eat. Right? But I feel this we can use this, right, for something, for making a piece that critiques something, right? And if selling the thing allows me to do this, then that's the thing, right? And I feel it's not. I'm not thinking it from a place of market. I'm thinking it from a place of what can sustain me in a way that I can keep pushing these ideas out. These ideas out. You know what I mean? Talking about being a generalist, talking about all these ideas, right? And that's the happy medium that I find for myself. Other people could see it differently, I hope, you know. Ideally, I'd love to work with people with that mindset. Honestly, music industry would be my ideal, but not sustainable. Thinking on making personal pieces for smaller bands, realities in my area, and see. I'm sure you'll find people that are you can meet an eye level. You know what I mean? Like I'm just working in two client pieces. All the last client work that I've done are for things that I really appreciate and I can really get behind the idea, you know. But that's also been like part of making these videos and reaching out and meeting people. That's another big one. Like get out there and meet people and talk about people and geek out about the things that you like and the way you see the world. And the ones that think like you will come to you. That is a thing. You know, it will happen, but you need to like speak it in a way that's truthful, at least, you know. And But yeah, I'm doing a book cover for a guy that I love, his content and what he does. I'm doing a logo for a training program that actually encapsulates a lot of the ideas that we're talking about being a journalist, but more geared towards like training and artistic expression. It's gonna be so cool. I did the work for the Creator Camp guys. You already know I love those guys. I love what they're doing, you know. But all that came, I'd like to think, because I put those ideas out there, right? And they were like, oh, that's cool. Not only because the posters were cool, you know what I mean? So I get that's the gist of it, you know what I mean? Like the work in the end is just an excuse to talk about the things that we like and like to keep doing, right? And I was talking about this with someone at Creator Camp, and I was saying we were talking about like mythology and like symbols, the thing we're doing now. Like there is something other than market, you know. When you choose to do a poster about something, it's like you're carving the walls on the cake, right? You are choosing to amplify the meaning of certain things that are gonna be like repeated through history. Like we see each other like we are in some sort of like void, but I don't think that's the case. I think that we are purposely like grabbing these images and putting them forward, and one more image that talks about the things that you want to talk about is one more image that 30 people are gonna see. 30 people is a whole ass room. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes we lose the track of that, and it's like, yo, like you actually are making these ideas like stay longer on this planet, on this like subconscious experience, like cultural, just by the sake of making them. So it's not like it's all market. Like you are playing a role in keeping certain ideas moving. It doesn't matter that it doesn't original. You're just like in the grand scheme of things, you're not doing anything by your own, right? But you are like without everyone that's doing that little work that moves the needle just a bit to the side that's good for you. That's the I feel that's the thing. That's the work that we need to do, just to be proud and that we are moving the needle just in the direction that we think it's better, right? And maybe for you the direction that I'm saying is bullshit, and maybe for me the direction that you're doing is bullshit, right? But I guess that realizing that you play a role, bro, in the way that we perpetuate certain ideas, right? And we do that with clients, right? In a small discussion, if you can convince the client of not using a certain logo for X, Y, or Z, then that's gonna stay. That's gonna stay, right? It's not necessarily that, oh, you do it for the pay. Like, of course you do it for the pay. I don't know. Maybe I went too abstract, bro. I had a constant undisciplined mentality this year and ended up with more of 35 posters uploaded on IG, but also I think that the amount of commissions done are low. What can we do to do more work? I have a friend that's actually also kind of struggling with that. For me, it's hard to say because, and I also don't get much, a lot of. I couldn't live off my client work alone. I couldn't, right? I do mostly out of the content, and the design assets are a big one, you know. But yeah, the client work, it comes like a big bonus and it helps a lot, but it's not my main thing. But I'm really good in that medium because I get to do like work that I really like, and I'm able to be a bit more flexible with the prices just in terms of doing it. But at least for myself, I'm looking towards the future. I would love to treat it more like a studio. Like I'm thinking, what am I gonna be doing when I'm 60 years old? You know, I need to start like looking into that direction. And I guess having a nice studio, like a properly set up design studio, would be good. But I need to start that efforts now, you know. So I'm also in the search of getting more design work. And the ones that I've been getting has been through contacts and people that I've seen my work online. But it's more artistic, right? I feel like the good thing would be to get into more like design, but also apply the strategy and stuff like that. And I would like to work with a team. But and this is the thing, you need to start to show your work in a way that's most likely to get clients. Like posters are gonna get you some clients, some not. Content is different because people are starting to see you speak and resonate with you on a deeper level. But off of the work itself, I wasn't getting so much clients from just posting posters. You know what I mean? You get the occasional. I did get some, like, you will get a lot of shit clients. You only need one good client that's gonna be the one that starts like a record label, and that will be your good client for a year, 2 years, till the label doesn't work anymore because it doesn't brought any profit. It's really hard to put up a successful label. But I guess like try to make like projects in which you can show your work in a more finished way. Like make branding projects, make like a Jesse Niver has a really nice video about this. Like make collections, like make a set of pieces that have a concept, and then you can make a project out of it. Don't make like things that get lost in the void. Like, oh, I made one poster with no context. It's like I made a poster. You know what I mean? Like, it's like make a set of pieces that have a message, talk about it in stories, create a project, and people, that will be the thing that gets you a client, right? Like put yourself in the shoes of looking for a client looking for a designer to make something, like would you just like go off like, oh, I like this poster and that would you think maybe you'd hire the dude to make a poster or whatever, but you're looking for the clients that once you start building your freelance business, you start to have like your golden clients, the ones that you keep, the ones that are your how do you say, like your clientele like folder. Those are your go-tos, you know what I mean? But that is built over time. You're gonna go through a lot of shit clients, but to attract those, I feel you need to both like more professional looking work, and not professional in the work itself. It's not in the you can make the most banger poster, and I'm sure that will get you work, but it needs to be presented, and I feel in a more professional packaging. It's like everything. When you go to the supermarket, you buy the packaging more than the thing sometimes. Unfortunately for this, I guess it's the case also, like having a nice website with a cool portfolio that maybe has the poster in collections, and you don't call it like personal work. Maybe you call it personal projects, something like that. I feel it goes a long way. It's not like, oh, these are posters I make in my free time. No. This is a full ass project that I developed because I love film, or because I love books, or because I love bands. Jesse did like the vinyls, the cover art, because he loves music, and it looks like a project that's been thought out for music, not because, oh, I did it because I had time and whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I feel that's a tremendous idea. I have an idea for something like that, but I don't want to say it still. But uh, I want to do some designs, but again, I need to finish. Like, I need to do some updates for the cutout. Also, Black Friday is coming. I need to do some stuff. I need to do the YouTube tutorial for the cutout effect to teach you how to do it. And yeah, after that, I'm gonna do that thing. But again, also my project is the Design Dojo. This is also a nice project. I feel like this next year is gonna be properly finished. I'm gonna add some assignments on drawing. We're gonna do some drawing assignments that are gonna be really cool. And yeah. So yeah, guys. So how do you feel about the? How do you feel about this assignment? We're gonna keep on this assignment for 1 week more, and then we go to the final one, which is gonna be the movie poster. We're gonna do the movie poster It's gonna be lit as fuck. Movie poster is a classic, and yeah, we're just gonna go get that. You know what I mean? Let me know what movies would you like to be have to do. Uh, but yeah, it's gonna be fire. Brr. I'm so tired, guys. My throat is killing me. I didn't have one mutton, bro. Let me see the Discord if we had like another good one. Fire. By human. Hmm. Like we produced our own image. It's super powerful, but it's linear. Like it's linear, my guy. And also the definition you used is really cool, but it supports the linearity. You know what I mean? But I feel this one is super powerful. Like we could copy image. I feel that threshold is super great because copy image. Damn, copy image. Yeah, it would be cool to choose your own movie too. It needs to be from a list, so because if we have people do a lot of different movies, it's gonna be it's better when it's a set list of movies because it's really nice to see when somebody does something different than you, right? And people start to inspire off of each other's pieces. So that helps develop more ideas. It's like a more condensed breeding ground when we are all coming off from the same seeds. So that's why it's from a set of movies. We can do a poll to get on the list to delineate what movies we want to do, but it needs to be like a finite list. Threshold is crazy. Threshold works. Point in which something takes place or becomes true. Civilize. Point in which something takes place and becomes true. No, no, no. That's yeah. This is no connection. See, here there is no connection because it's too far apart. So these are the ones we have, my guys. So that was kind of it, I think, my guys. Do you have another question? I'd love an answer on self-marketing thing. By the way, I know it's in line with the generalist question, but still curious. Like, what about it? Like, you have social media, you have all the design things. You can reach out to your local community, get into your if you have like a creative community near you, try to connect with people there, attend to events. And there are a bunch of ways. You can also try getting to a design studio and trying to meet people there, and then when you get out, you keep the contacts. Not the clients, but people that are there. Maybe you can start an agency with a friend. Yeah, I. Oh, I. You mean like making a post about you making client work? Like I like looking for clients. Like now, you just post your best work, but there is something about sometimes we post the work in a way that's we make a poster, so we want to show the poster, right? We want to show the poster, and we post it, and some clients will gravitate to it and see it and go like, yo, this is really cool, I could hire this guy. But the I feel like the clients that are gonna convert the most into long-time relationships want to see like a more finished, like, oh, this guy is the real deal. He does client work, he does projects. So you can show even your stuff in a cool way, like YouTube it's super good for that because it gives you like a degree more of believability and like and something else. But you could make content around sharing your portfolio. You can post stuff in a creative way, but which you could show like a more finalized thing. I don't know if that's what you were asking. Yeah, you need to be creative. Like on my page, I might have a rate flyer one thing one time and then UI another time. You need to be creative in the way in which you make those two coexist. Like there is no easy answer there. Like in you're a building designer, like this is a design problem that you have that you're gonna need to solve, right? It's not only in the poster and in the UA UX design, UX UI design. Like this is a design problem that you have and that gonna need to resolve, right? Like how do you show those two things? That's your problem. You need to literally find the graphic way. You need to literally find the graphic way of solving it, and don't think about the post. Like think about your entire like your structure. Do you have a website? Maybe you have two separate pages if you don't want to keep them both side by side. Maybe you find a way in which you can make them coexist. That works also. Like I just started a new page for my drawings because I started doing some like drawing things, and that didn't make any sense to have it on. That didn't make any sense to have it on. Right, I started a page with this. These are some fun like drawings that I started to do. So I made a different page for it, and that's that. I don't know if this is work or I do it because I want to. These are in Spanish because I also wanted to try doing some things in Spanish. But yeah, you just need to find a way in which you can make like sort of everything coexist. You know what I mean? But that's your design problem. Yeah, I guess the advice that I can tell you is look at it like that. Look at it like a design problem and try to be creative in the way in which you solve it, and that way like it's truthful to you. It's like looks like your style. Oh, I had a really nice like example for this because I recently feel like oh yeah, what was the time? Yeah, I actually studied like for concept artist. I wanted to be a concept artist, but oh, okay, I guess that's one. Let's go back to the drawings. If you go really back to my if you go to my Instagram to the beginnings, you'll see my figure drawings that I was studying to become like a fine artist, something like that. And I practiced a lot. I am fairly good at drawing, but I could never get past this sketch state. I draw interesting sketches. That's the truth of it. You know what I mean? I draw interesting sketches that are cool. Nothing out of the ordinary. Okay. I stopped because I realized that this is by talking with some other people that were like accomplished artists. Like they say, you need to like to become like world class. You need to sacrifice a lot of time, like a lot. It's like not proportional to the degree of you might like to to draw, but to get into the concept art industry, you need to be lucky and you need to be top 1% talent. That's sacrificing going out. That's like you need to be on the ball. And I was like, I'm not up for it because also like the pay is not super good. Like, and I was like, fuck it, right? Graphic design, it's like a nice medium. And I ended up like liking design, and I get to draw for a living, to make drawings if I still want. It's like I realized that I like more like the graphic design and the business part of it, thinking about all of the stuff that we were talking about. But then it was like, okay, I can go back into the drawing thing and make this stuff because now I'm coming from the designer perspective, right? And I was like, okay, these are nice sketches. So I kind of stopped drawing because I couldn't pass that sketch stage. Once you do the sketch and you try to make it formal, the drawing sort of stiffens a little bit. It's hard to make it like a finalized thing. So now my design brain was like, okay, I have this really nice sketch. Let's just double down on the sketch. Let's make it ultra sketchy. Let's make it sketch, and the sketch, and that's a design decision. To have this aesthetic is a design decision. To put the red background, making contrast, the graded color, flat graded color, using the white for the accent and the text. Those are design decisions that have nothing to do with my skills drawing, rather than they amplify the sketch looks, and it actually goes well with the message. These are kind of funny, like this one is crazy, I love it, gaslight everyone. You know what I mean? So that's a decision similar to which you could take around your designs. Like you are a UX UI designer, you make great flyers also. Like, what's the medium between the two? How can you come up with a creative way that's unique to you in which you can show the work? But of course you want to get like those crispy UI UX clients. So maybe you need to make a separate account. Like, I don't know, but think it in those terms. I feel like it's a good advice. It's what I would do. I don't know. And yeah, that's kind of my gist of it, my guys. Yo, the Elgato Stream Deck is going clutch because I can do this. Beep, 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 beep. Shit. Oh, you know what I mean, guys? Yeah. They love sketches, but no client is gonna like to make a nice sketch. You know what I mean? Like, I choose to make it okay. If I make it like honest, like if I made a lot of these and they were really good, I could make like a small like graphic book out of those. For the people that want to support, I could do that later down the line. But because I'm thinking it more like a business thing, but whatever. Like, already thinking about money. I was just doing that to sort of fuck around. But yeah. Yeah, my guys, if you have any other questions for now, I'm gonna go like closing shop. Was really nice talking to you, my guys. So yeah. So yeah, my guys. that was everything. See you on the Design Dojo to keep polishing all these things from the assignment. And you already know how it is. Fuck peace. We should conflict